Here's a very surprising story from Rabbi Yosef Karo. Rabbi Yosef Karo, he lived about 400 years ago. He wrote the book which is called the Shulchan Aruch. And this is the book of law, which is a compilation, I wanted to distilled the laws of the whole Talmud. The Talmud is filled with arguments, and a lot of times it's not clear what's the conclusion of the arguments, but they're only arguing about what to do, what we're supposed to do, how a Jew is supposed to act, how he's supposed to. And Yosef Karo, he wrote a book which came to the conclusion of all of these laws, what to do. And everyone goes according to the laws of Yosef Karo. There are commentaries on these laws, especially the Rav Moshe Islers, that usually the Ashkenazic Jews, they go according to Rav Moshe Islers, and the Sephardic Jews, they go according to Rabbi Yosef Karo. And in general, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. There's a lot of room for individuality in Judaism, but the general format is the same. It's almost like a human being, right? Every human being has the same number of lungs and hearts and eyes and nose and bones, and the bones are the same place and everything like that. But nevertheless, every human being is different. So the same thing, the bones of Judaism are the Torah and the commandments, and it is, but there's a lot of room for individuality, okay. Blood types, things like that. So there's different customs in Judaism. But generally speaking, every Jew puts on tefillin, and every Jew keeps Shabbat, and there's some Jews that bring in Shabbat a little bit earlier, and some a little bit later, and some of this. Some people that tefillin are little small differences in the tefillin, but they're all basically the exact same thing. Okay. So once Rabbi Yosef Karo, when he was writing his book, the Shulchan Aruch, so he came across a big question that he had. A big question. He wanted to write down a certain law, but he saw that there was a contradiction in a different place to what his conclusion was, what the law should be. So he deepened his mind, looked a little bit deeper, looked at it, and he found another contradiction. Then he found the contradiction to that contradiction. And finally, the thing became very unclear what he was supposed to do. And he prayed to God, and he fasted for days and days until finally, after several days of thinking and meditating and trying to remember in the Talmud, finally he came to the conclusion. He came to an answer. He answered his questions that he had. And he was walking home from this. He was walking home, and he passed by a place of learning where young boys were learning. They were learning Talmud. And he was walking down the street, and he heard the boys learning Talmud, and he stopped to rest, whatever. And suddenly, interestingly enough, he heard that the boys were learning in that same tractate of Talmud on the same page that he had learned where he had his question, and they were learning in the same topic that he had this question in, and one of the boys suddenly asked the other one the same question that he had in his mind, that he had been working on for 4 or 5 days with, sweating and fasting. And one boy asked the other boy a question. 1 second, how can it be that it says over this? I remember there's another Talmud that says like this. So that's the question I asked. So the boy that was asked the question too, he said, that's not a question. The answer is like this. And he gave the answer. He gave the answer that Rabbi Yosef Karo had worked for days and days to get. He just snapped off the answer. So he said, wow, that's really amazing. This boy must be like a super genius or something. But even if he was, Yosef Karo was already known to be a genius of geniuses, holy of holies. And he had to work for 3 days, and this young boy didn't make any difference how genius he was. At least he sort of thought for wow, that's a good question. Think about it a little bit. The question. He just snapped out the question like that. Rabbi Yosef Karo he had an angel that used to come to him and help him in his learning. Sometimes give him answers, give him insights. There's a book. It's called Magid Mishorim. You can even buy the book, Magid Mishorim. Sometimes he would tell him Kabbalistic things, not very deep Kabbalistic things, but he would tell him Kabbalistic things because Yosef Karo lived in the same time as the Arizal, and Arizal was pure Kabbalah. He was like the father of modern Kabbalah. They eventually married. I think Yosef Karo's daughter married the Arizal, his son or whatever. Anyway, they married their children they married. In any case, so this angel came to Rabbi Yosef Karo. He was very broken. He said, I worked for 3 days in order to get this answer. This boy just snapped up the answer. Maybe I'm losing it. Maybe something is wrong. I can't. So the angel came to him and he said, can you explain to me what happened? I worked on this answer for days and days, and suddenly this young boy, I passed by the young boy, he got the answer just, minutes. So the angel said to him, no, you don't understand. That answer that you got was concealed. There's a commandment. You have to work at the Torah. God wanted that answer to be concealed. As soon as you got the answer, you worked hard, you opened up the door to that answer. Now that answer is accessible to everyone. You made it easier for everyone. From this story, we can learn an interesting thing, that sometimes if you do something, the right thing, and it's difficult to do, then by means of you succeeding, you make it easier for everyone else to do the right thing, to say the right thing, to think the right thing. So sometimes you yourself, everything that we do can also open up a door to others. Every good deed that we do opens up a door to all mankind to continue doing that good deed. It makes it less difficult for people to decide to do that good deed or say that good word or to do that act of kindness or of understanding or of mercy, or to be patient in a place where every normal person would lose his patience, or to be calm in a place where everyone else would be nervous, right? To do good things, that opens spiritually the world to good things. So it could be that a good deed that you do has an effect on, Jews or even non-Jews in a totally different continent. We have no idea of the repercussions of one good deed, thought, or word. Have a good day with Mashiach now.